Woman found deer strolling around with something unusual sticking out of its head. Kenora was a town in northern Ontario. People who appreciated coexisting with nature, who valued and enjoyed the planet and all its inhabitants, lived in this town as a whole. Given the terrain of the region, deer were one animal species that was particularly prevalent. Residents of Kenora saw deer so regularly that they were able to identify and distinguish between them. As a result, when a member of the neighborhood came across the beloved Carrot the magic deer, she was horrified to see the unfortunate deer had something substantial jutting out of its head. What the government performed to assist it after that was absolutely unbelievable. The deer have such a pattern that Leon Carver has named several of them. Carrot is the name of one of them. She saw the deer for the first time around 3 years ago when it was being cared for by a buck she named Potato. And he had this little fawn with him, this orphaned fawn. Bucks would often take orphaned fawns under their wing, and this time it happened to be Carrot, said Carver. Carver explained that naming the deer after veggies just seemed like the right thing to do. He was exceptional, and he would just keep returning. Leon Carver had known Carrot for almost 3 years, back when he first began to pass through her yard as a fawn. He did not hold the normal characteristics of a deer. It was something else, and I simply can't explain it. But then something strange happened to make Carrot completely stand out in a different way. On December 9th, Carver's husband stepped out into the yard to see the deer and came back crying. Carrot had been shot through the head with an arrow. I could hardly make out what he was saying, she said. I went out to see Carrot, and I was completely disturbed when I saw him. According to the hunters who have been writing to me, it's a carbon arrow, a lethal hunting arrow. And this is something that would come out of a crossbow. Given that the deer was shot in a residential area and that the arrow appeared to have come from above, Carver said she thinks someone may have fired the arrow from a window or a deck. Crossbow discharges are permitted within the city's urban zones thanks to a 2013 amendment to the rules of the city of Kenora. A similar bylaw was passed in 2012 in the city of Thunder Bay. She remarked that the doorway was open for this to happen because of the way the local bylaws are written, adding that it appears to be malicious, like an act of animal cruelty. Observing that she has gotten emails from as far afield as Australia and South Africa, Carver said she is astounded by the outpouring of support for the deer. People are watching him everywhere, and that's something I couldn't have predicted, she added, explaining that when she first started a social media profile for Carrot, she thought some locals might care about the plight of the deer. She expected some worry because he could symbolize a problem with hunting in the city. On this one, it brought cultures together, hunters and non-hunters, she explained. Everybody's had this unified voice for him, of compassion and care. Carver explained that one of the difficulties in Carrot's recuperation is that there is no large animal veterinarian in Kenora who can deal with this type of problem. As unsettling as it sounds, the consensus is the bolt in the head may actually be saving his life at this point, she said. It seems to have shut the arteries and cauterized the wound. The bleeding following removal could result in serious illness or demise. The risk of tranquilizing Carrot, according to Carver, could result in additional issues that could threaten his life. The best course of action, she suggested at this time, could be to leave the arrow in his head. There is nothing life-threatening, no signs of infection, it's just disturbing, she said, adding that we all have a natural inclination to just take it out, but that's not necessarily the best medicine. Carver predicted that in 3 months, if that wound heals as we hopefully suspect, and his antlers drop, the arrow should slide out easily. Carver claimed to have spoken with a conservation officer in British Columbia who offered that advice and pointed out that the arrow might come out after the deer's antlers fall. The other problem, according to her, is that even though Carrot is accustomed to people, he is still a wild animal, and putting one's arms between a deer's antlers could be harmful to both the deer and the person. According to Carver, the owner of a nearby shooting supply store told her that cutting the arrow would also be problematic because it was composed of carbon fiber that would break and infect Carrot. Trying to shield him with our voices is the most important thing we can do at this time. And exactly that is being done for him by the universal voice. The public is focused on him and wants him to be okay.
Subscribe for more content like this. And don't forget to hit the bell button so you can be updated right away for new uploads.